Hello friends, here's just a short garden update. This is one thing that I am doing to, number one, put down the cardboard. It helps bring up the earthworms, also helps as a weed barrier. I put that down sort of as a bottom foundation. This is a good way to do the no-till gardening, as far as, if you got ground but you're not, and you're going to put in ground but you don't have a tiller, then you can use this cardboard. You can also use things like, I've heard, straw, but you want to make sure you get unseeded straw, because then you're going to have a lot of straw that sprouts up, and that is not fun. So you can put this down as your first layer. You can work this in, you can layer the cardboard, or you can just do one layer. It just depends on what makes you most comfortable, but I'll probably just do this one layer. And on this side in the middle, there's going to be a portion that's going to be corn, and there might be another squash over there. I'm going to do a variety of sunflowers, but there's also going to be sort of left entrances or walkways to the other side of my raised beds, so that when my vegetables bloom in the beds on the other side of the trellis, that I can still get to those. So you'd want to put down a layer of compost and some good dirt. I get the Expert Gardener dirt at Walmart for 1 cubic foot. I think it's $3.76 a bag or $3.46 a bag. I do not use the Miracle-Gro. I do not like the chemicals in the Miracle-Gro. That's just me personally. I've never used the Miracle-Gro. So, but I feel more comfortable going organic as best I can. But I do use that Expert Gardener, and so far for the last 2 years I've had good results mixing that with cow and some ocean floor organic matter and some bone meal and things like that. You can also use eggshells, banana water, banana peels, things like that to put in your compost in your garden. So last year I did a little watermelon over here on the hill. I did a Crimson Sweet right about here in the middle, and this hill just sort of dives off. This looks horrible right now. I know it looks terrible. But this is a work in progress, and you've kind of got a picture in your mind, or I do at least. And then I lay out the landscape, and then I start putting the dirt down. So where I'm going to do, like right here in the middle where I've got that block of cardboard, I'll probably do a block of corn right there. I've heard grow good in groups or blocks of corn. I'm going to try that this year, planting Honey Select. And then about right there in the middle of that cardboard, I am going to probably put a whole bag of dirt down, maybe more, and make me a mound right there. And then I will mix compost and dirt and put right there in the middle. And then what will happen is when the cucumber when the Crimson Sweet watermelon starts running and vining, it will go down over the bank, which is good. So that cardboard that's kind of sloping downward, that will have vines going down it. I'll probably put just a little straw or something under there, just to keep the vines dry and things like that. So that just kind of keeps weeds out and things like that, so that you don't have to get in there. You can plant nasturtiums and flowers and things like that in between your watermelon, keep pests away, things like that. So I'll probably do that as well. So just right there in the middle, I'm going to do some dirt and compost, and then where it slopes over, I'll probably do some straw there, just so that, and no, like I said, unseeded straw. That way, that just gives your vines a little something to grow over, but there's no weeds there coming through. And then next year, if you decided just to go back natural grass, then you don't have much worries, because all of this is natural stuff that will go back and compost and decompose and stuff. So that's what I'm doing, and that's what you can do. And on the upper borders up there, I'm going to do some sunflowers in the back and just scattered out around. I've got some flowers intermingled in my beds also, so I'm going to have a mix of flowers and vegetables. So some corn, some watermelon. So I may do like two hills of watermelon right there, so that I'll have those vining over. I'll do some sunflowers. Just lots of things you can do. You can plant beans with your corn. They will vine up the corn, give your corn about a couple weeks head start to get about 6 or 8 inches tall. Then start you some beans, they'll climb. So you can do some herbs, basil, dill, things like that. Interplant that. That also helps with pests. You know, just, you know, you can just do this different ways. I have these little balloon lamps at night. They are solar. They light up. They look like little flames inside of them. They're really pretty. I've got the little stake lights along the side, so they light up at night. So it looks like my little walkway is lit up. Some of you might have seen that last year. I added these little decorative pots this year with some petunias just as a entrance, and I've just got different ideas on things. Might do something here. It's just a work in progress. I've got beans and peas coming up very nicely here. I have got snapdragons there returning, as well as those. They came back from last year and they have spread. Got beans and peas coming up over here. Beans, peas, I've got flowers coming up. I've got zinnias coming up. I've got marigolds coming up. I've got some ochre coming up. I've planted some mint here that a friend gave me. I've just got all kinds of little things blooming here and coming up out of the ground. I do have, I think I saw several of my Holy Land tomatoes that I planted are coming up in the garden. So again, over here at the back, you can, you know, plant you some real tall flowers. You know, the trellis is tall, but you want to go tall with your flowers. So some really big, tall sunflowers back in the back. The giant zinnias then, and then a variety of cosmos. You want to do a few of the sensational, and they're the real big fluffy ones. Takes them a while to bloom, but they're beautiful. So when everything else is almost quit in your garden, the sensational cosmos will start popping, and they're gorgeous. You will want to do the bright light cosmos. You can do those in the middle of your beds. I've got some planted. I think I have some coming up. And hummingbirds and butterflies will be your friend. You will have all kinds of them. You will have little bees that will come, and they will just get so full that they'll just start taking naps in your flowers, and you will love it. So anyway, happy gardening. This is just a little update. It's a work in progress, and it's very ugly in the beginning. It's very raw, but later on in the summer, this will be gone, and all you will see is vegetables, herbs, and flowers, and just God's glory. You know, just, you know, God's glory in the garden. That's what you'll see. So you guys can do this. I started 2 years ago. I'm learning. Go to YouTube University. It's not that hard. So somebody like me can do it. You just have to do your homework. There's some plants that love to grow together. You got to find out what those are. There's some that hate each other and won't grow together at all. So you just got to do a little homework. If you're going to plant cabbage and peas or whatever, you Google and say, do cabbage and peas grow good together? You know, and Mr. Google will tell you all that you want to know. So, all right, guys. So this is just one of my beds. I'll give you a little short tour of this one down here. Another work in progress still. I've got some cabbages growing there. I have got in the back of these beds, they've not come up yet, but I have got like 15 giant zinnias that will come up in the back of those beds. And I have bought a few little flowers that I've got for some pots out front. I've got to transplant those. I've got more zinnias that'll come up back there. I've got to get some more vegetables in the middle and the border and the edges of these beds. So still got to work on these. Still got more room to plant in here. And look at those snapdragons. They came back from last year. Look at that. Aren't they beautiful? And that's just a little impulse buy tomato that I bought. It was $1.97 at Walmart, and he's doing real good. He's a beefsteak. There's some daisies growing back there in that cinder block, and I have some sunflowers growing back there. And this lovely is one of the shorter varieties of dahlia, and it's just beautiful. And so this one had gotten a little dry and droopy at the garden center, so sometimes you'll find little plants like this that looks like they're dying, and they'll mark them down. And so he needed me, so I brought him home, and he's doing beautiful, beautiful. Okay, here we go. One more thing. So the green things you see, this is up on my little hill. Those are volunteer potatoes that have come back from last year. I have now got potatoes, corn, and bush beans planted together in this bed because they are wonderful companion plants. I also have a volunteer petunia or two that has decided to join the potatoes, so I've left them alone. They're doing just fine. I have got 2 Holy Land tomatoes planted here, but I do not see any emerging yet. I've got large zinnia and okra. So that large zinnia will come up back there, and they will get about 5 foot tall. Then I plan to have some big boy sunflowers right here behind them. So you want to stagger your crops. So I'm gonna have some tall tomatoes, and I'm gonna have some tall okra here. Then in the front, I'm gonna have some smaller flowers. So this right here will be pretty, and it will draw in pollinators, but I can still reach my big stuff back here when I go to pull tomatoes or corn. So, and here I am leaving myself a spot to be able to just, when it's time to dig these potatoes, I want to be able to kneel down and dig the potatoes. The bush beans will grow short. I can kneel down, pick the bush beans, and then the corn back here and on the sides, I can just reach back there and get, or get back here at the sides and get them. I've got a yellow squash growing here, and I have got also some corn growing around it, and I've got some beans growing also here. This is going to be a Three Sisters project. The Indians used to, is what I've heard now, that they were the original ones who planted what they call the Three Sisters. The corn, the beans will vine up the corn, then the squash will cover the ground. And so I've got some squash here, yellow squash. I've got the large, I think I've even got a few large zinnias back there. And then some corn, and then some beans that will vine up the corn. I don't think I have planted my beans yet. I'm going to plant them after the corn starts sprouting up, and then give them a little head start, and then I'm going to plant my beans, and they will vine up it beautifully. So down there behind the garage, I've also got a few little beds, but I don't have a whole lot in there yet. I've got some corn and some other things planted. So, but up here, this is my Cedar Hill garden, and I need to mulch around this a lot and just make it a little prettier, or maybe add some flowers there in the front. But I have just been focusing on getting it planted first. So that's it for my little garden, which keeps growing in more ways than one. All right, happy gardening, everybody.